you were bang out of order last night, Sonny Jim.
Don't you
They've become the most famous young faces in the country. But what's it really like being a Coronation Street kid on and off screen?
Hey, you, Stanley Matthews.
Tonight, we're going to reveal all.
If I could describe Corrie kids in one word, I would have to say nightmares.
We were 16 on the biggest show in the country and just having a ball.
Where are you going?
Over the next 60 minutes, we'll tell all about those childish fights.
Half of me was like, oh, I can't believe I've got to do that to Sam. Can't believe it. The other half was like, woohoo, Candice is getting to throw pizza in someone's face. Here.
The teenage fashions.
They dyed my hair at the front. They dyed it like pink. And, well, it was kind of blonde with pinky. It was just hideous.
And the growing passions.
Everyone's in there going, get in there, son, have it, go on, do it, one for the lads.
Have you ever snugged for about 10 minutes non-stop?
And we'll find out what happened to the Coronation Street kids of yesteryear.
Hello, Grandma. Where's the toffee tin?
Including this cheeky young monkey who became a pop legend.
It's like the mafia. Once you're in, once you're in. Once you're a Coronation Street kid, you're a Coronation Street kid, and I'm proud of it.
Today's Coronation Street kids are household names.
And the National Television Award goes to Sam Aston. Nikki Sanderson.
There are more young stars than ever before on Coronation Street. Joining Britain's most successful soap guarantees you life under the media spotlight. But probably nothing can beat the thrill of getting the part in the first place.
I found out I got the part while I was actually in school. I was in school on the day, and my teacher comes running up to me, my drama teacher, and she went, Nikki, you've got to get to the office, you've got to get to the office. And I was thinking, no, my brother's been beaten up or something. And you're trying to think, oh no, I've done something wrong, I'm going to get done now. And so I ran to reception, and in reception they had teddy bears and flowers and balloons and everything, and everyone was there. And I just went, I was like crying my eyes out. I was just so happy.
You cheeky little monkey, you ought to think yourself very lucky you're not my grandson.
I do.
I remember telling my granddad, and I can always remember the look in his eyes. He was absolutely over the moon, the pride, and I've never seen a look like it since.
I was on the train, actually, coming home from the audition, and my agent phoned me up and she said, Jack.
Hello?
And just then the line went dead. And I turned to her and said, the line's gone off. She says, what do you mean it's gone off? So she snatches the phone, she starts dialing my agent again, and she couldn't get through. And we'd gone under a tunnel on this train, so we've no signal. And we had to wait till we finally gets out of this eternity tunnel. And before I found out that I'd got the part.
Are you serious?
But I couldn't run up and down on this train because I'm on a train. So I just had a little yes to myself.
Getting a part is one thing, but making your on-screen debut is as nerve-wracking as your first day of school.
Obviously, I was really, really nervous. I was actually physically shaking, you know, at the thought of working on Coronation Street. And I walk into the green room.
You've got a problem telling the time, Aiden?
I don't know, sir. Have I? And Ken Barlow walks in, and obviously I go up to Bill Roach, plays Ken Barlow, and say, hi, I'm going to be doing scenes. Oh, hi, you're all right, yeah. And the best thing about it was that he took me around the whole set and the studio, and he made me feel so comfortable. And it's all down to good old Mr. Barlow. And for someone like that to show me around the building on my first day to make me feel really comfortable was fantastic.
There was four of us. We brought the whole family with us, you know what I mean, for steer filming.
Get lost, Baldy!
We're all up in this car, pull up next to a Cadillac. I think it were a pink Cadillac, and I remember looking at it thinking, wait. You know what I mean? We're here. And my mum's like, don't make a scene. Don't make a scene when we get out, because I'm telling you now, they're going to be everywhere. We're going through the green room, and that's where they all chill out. That's where they all sit. So I want to keep it on the low. Get out car. Who should be there but Betty Wall in the pub? That were it. Christ, she's here, she's here. Get back in car, get back in car. The very person who's telling us to behave, you know what I mean, and to keep it on the low, goes completely insane in front of the most famous member at cast. I'm like, what are you doing to me, you?
Can't wait for you to see it.
Oh, you'd not miss it for anything, love. Certainly not these boring old forms.
Yeah, it's always been one of my favourite pantos, Jack and the Beanstalk.
I remember my first line and everything.
and my grandparents come round to watch it with us, and we got a big bottle of champagne and we watched it, and my first reaction actually was to hide behind the set seat.
Sean Watson's playing Jack and I'm his mother.
Hey, that's a big part, isn't it?
Naturally.
Hey, big head.
I don't think I could ever see myself on a video camera or anything like that, so to see myself on TV was just bizarre to me.
Come on, we better get going.
See you at school then, Mum.
All right, my love, and good luck.
You're supposed to say break a leg.
Oh, right, break a leg then.
When my first scene came about on the TV, everybody gathered round, and all the family came around to watch it, and I told them all that it was a scene in Roy's Rolls. When it finally did, I'm going, oh, where am I, where am I? And my brother noticed me first. He went, there's your arm, there's your arm. I says, never mind my arm, where's my face? I want to see me. And when I finally spoke and everything, I can remember my lines, actually. I said, hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, who is it?
Some woman.
Some woman.
Okay.
Can I have a Eccles cake, Mum?
Can I have an Eccles cake, Mum?
Hello?
Everybody can always remember the first lines and the first episode and what they were doing, but they can't remember the second one. No one can unless you did it wrong.
Take my hand and come with me because you look so fine that I really want to make you mine.
Of course, once you've got the part, you need to look the part. That's when you need a bit of faith in the Coronation Street wardrobe department. Now, everyone commits fashion crimes when they're young, but when it's the kids from Corrie, about 15 million people could appear as witnesses for the prosecution.
5, 6, come on and get your kicks. Now you don't need the money when you look like that, do you, honey?
In the 1980s, one Coronation Street kid was a walking clothes horse for all that was naff about the fashions of the time.
Some of the outfits I've had to wear in Coronation Street have been terrible. There was my school uniform to begin with. Nobody ever likes a school uniform, and I used to have to wear that a lot with a blue scarf.
Ah, Jenny Wren, you're first back. Everything all right?
Yeah, of course. Then there was big hair, big earrings, big shoulder pads. One of the worst outfits that I ever had to wear was when I was a Pomme de Light girl.
Ta-da! You're not going out like that.
Yeah, of course we are. First job's night instead. Yeah. Which I think was some kind of cider drink or something. And that, bizarrely enough, was the storyline that led me into having the affair with the married man. He wouldn't have found me attractive in that gold lame outfit, I'm quite sure.
But it wasn't just the girls making those fatal fashion faux pas. The boys were at it too, and none more so than the McDonald twins.
We were Jason Donovan lookalikes. Because Neighbours was really hot at the time, and there was the Jason and Kylie sort of shenanigans going on, and they had this idea that that's why they were bringing us in to rival Neighbours, because it was sort of ripping everything up at the time. We were brought in as Jason Donovan lookalikes to save the youth of the street.
Robin, tell him to get this.
I don't know. Money to burn. They gave us these huge leather belts and like tight t-shirts, which are fine for people who want to wear tight t-shirts.
It's nice to see there's still some men with a touch of finesse.
Oh, I opened the door for us well, you know.
But skinny, pale, you know, Mancunian lads don't really wear that.
Well, it's very nice. It's very flamboyant.
So they did dress us up very peculiar.
If you want to get with me, better make it fast.
Give it a rest, Leah.
But Jason Donovan isn't the only pop star to have had a big influence on the passing fashions of the Coronation Street kids.
She's not harming anybody.
Doing my head in.
Leave her alone.
Now look what you've done.
Well, you should get out of the way then, shouldn't you?
When Leanne and Toyah arrived, they both looked horrendous. We had horrendous clothes. And I drew the short straw because they dyed my hair at the front. They dyed it like pink. And, well, it was kind of blonde with pinky. It was just hideous.
How much is this?
What is it?
Conditioner.
They were kind of going for the sort of Spice Girl look because the Spice Girls were very popular at that time. I think Leanne was more like a second-hand Spice Girl. You know, she looked a bit rough. Her clothes were very loud, very sort of tight-fitting and cheap and nasty, and the big, horrible makeup.
You cannot put the words Toyah and fashion in the same sentence.
Excuse me, Mr. Barlow, can you report to school?
No, Toyah, I don't think I can.
And certainly for a 17-year-old who's quite conscious of her body anyway, as I was, and I think you are at that age, to be put in camouflage hot pants, which were basically just a pair of big knickers, and some hideous trainers, and a sort of oversized sweatshirt, and outrageous hairdos. It certainly took some getting used to, and I certainly got a lot of stick off my mates who were like, God, look at that picture, you look, you know, you can imagine you look a state.
Hiya.
Howdy. My clothes were horrific when I first started. I used to wear baggy jeans.
Hey, don't you blame yourself?
Because she was a kennel maid, and obviously the female version of Tyrone. So they had us in like matching fleeces, matching stripy, horrible fleeces that kind of itched as you wore them.
There's nothing wrong with talking to dogs.
And I used to have to wear wellies and everything. It was just about the least glamorous character, I think.
So thank goodness for the Trinny and Susanna of the street coming to Maria's aid.
Maxine's offered to take you to her house during your break.
What for?
Well, I thought you might like to try a few of my clothes on, like a little bit of a makeover.
Yeah, all right then. It'll take more than a new frock and a bit of slap to make a real woman.
And I had the scene where I walked into the Rovers and
Maria,
Tyrone just was sat with Fizz, and she was like, he was open-mouthed when he saw me.
Talk of the devil. She looks like her aunt. Slap her.
And Fizz is like, what are you looking at? She's hanging. So that was nice. That's where the miniskirts first came in, thanks to Maxine.
Flipping heck.
Hey, put your tongue back in.
And talking of tongues...
What on earth do you think you're doing?
Mwah.
The only thing more embarrassing than dodgy fashion is dodgy passion, and the kids from Coronation Street get plenty of practice.
I think you're dead nice.
Honest. My first on-screen snog was with Bruno Langley, who played Todd, and I was his first on-screen snog, and we had to actually do a proper snog, like Rudy snog and everything. And then he had to pull away and go, "Now do you believe me?" And it was the cheesiest line you've ever heard in your life.
Now do you believe me?
And I just kept laughing, because it was just the way he had to go, "Now do you believe me?"
Now do you believe me?
And there's like 20 people stood around you, just watching, ready for you to snog, and you're just kind of like, I can't believe this is so embarrassing.
You know something, Tiger? It's always second helpings of that. I snogged at Sally and Kevin's party.
Well, if it isn't Cinderella, eh?
You were coming. There it was, at the banister at the bottom of Sally and Kevin's. Instead of actually just kissing him so you could see the kissing, I was doing lots of hand-through hair acting. So you couldn't actually see how much I was kissing him. And there was a call that came down from the producer's office saying, can Sally Ann stop ruffling this man's hair so suggestively? It was too sexy, apparently, for Coronation Street. So it was back to the old job. What do you think you're doing?
Well, I remember getting the script, finding that I had to kiss this girl, Andrea Young.
You said you didn't like girls.
No, never. I remember thinking, oh, OK then. I'll just get along with it. I'll just do what I have to do.
I like snogging.
Have you ever had a really, really long snog with anybody?
Yeah. It wasn't until I was, like, rehearsing, doing it before, like, it's the real thing, action. And everyone's in there going, get in there, son, have it, go on, do it, one for the lads. And it was all a bit embarrassing then.
Have you ever snogged for about 10 minutes non-stop?
Yeah, about.
Is that your record? Well, why don't you try and break it then?
What are you doing here?
Don't you just hate stopping in the middle of something? Still, there's plenty more action after the break when the street's latest young superstar, Sam Aston, gives a rare television interview. And who do you think he's talking about here?
Oh, he's really nice. He's funny. Yeah, he swears a lot.
The first Coronation Street baby, Paul Chevsky, arrived in Weatherfield in 1961. Since then, the show has introduced 31 newly born stars. These days, because of strict rules about the amount of time babies can spend on set, the cast use dolls wherever possible. Sometimes the script demands the real thing.
Hey, Joshua. This is it. This is your new home.
That can mean a testing time for the parents of Coronation Street's youngest stars.
On the first day, it was quite nerve-wracking because
It's something that we've never done before, so we're not used to any sort of cameras, lighting, microphones, all these other things that are going on. It's all a brand new thing for us, so it's all pretty new. And obviously we're taking care of a baby, and babies, as anybody who's a parent know, are quite unpredictable, and they don't always do, as you can see, they don't always do what you might want them to do, or sit where you want them to sit. They undertake their own things.
Oh, we haven't.
We'll keep the weight. I'll take the little one to bed.
Oh dear, night-night, Joshua, night-night. Sleep tight, watch the bugs, don't bite.
When we're at home, sometimes he even wants to come to Corrie. I'll say to him, what should we do today, Ben? He said, go to Corrie. And I have to explain we can't sort of just turn up.
The only baby in the history of Coronation Street to be cast before he was born is Warren Jackson, who made his debut as Nikki Platt in 1981.
Hey, he doesn't say much, does he?
Oh, doesn't he? You just wait.
Warren's mum was friends with Chris Quentin, who played Gail's first husband, Brian.
Chris Quentin said that they might possibly be able to use you if you have a child with blonde hair and blue eyes. And I was born and I had blonde hair and blue eyes, so I got the part.
Come, let's have a look at him. Oh, the little love. I bet he wonders where he's come to.
Because of my on-screen dad, Chris Quentin, because we were quite close, and obviously he was my dad at that point in the programme, I did get quite emotional when he was actually killed, because I remember hearing the fact that he was going to a nightclub and he got stabbed. And I saw him get stabbed on the television, and I remember crying, because I was sad, obviously, because he's died.
6 years after her son Nikki arrived, Gail gave birth to her daughter, Sarah Lou. The new baby was played by twins, Lynsay and Leah King. But tragically, after just a few months, Leah died.
It was a pair of us, but because I was the smallest one, Helen felt more comfortable holding my sister. So she was the actual Sarah Louise, and I'd step in if she wasn't well.
Is she a little belter?
Say hello to your Grandad Alfred, Sarah.
Grandad, how about that?
And then when my sister passed away, I then originally took over her role.
Lynsay played Sarah Lou for the next 13 years, and her most vivid memories are of the part she played in one of the street's creepiest ever storylines after the death of her grandma.
What's this on your chin? Well, Sarah Louise was stood in the middle of the garden, just looking up at this house, in a complete and utter daze, not saying anything, in the middle of the night, in a pair of pyjamas.
What are you doing out here?
Where's Nikki? In bed.
Yes, but she's where you should be.
I'm waiting for Grandma Ivy.
It was freezing.
Grandma Ivy died, sweetheart. I know, but I saw her up there in the bedroom window.
Even today they use twins on Coronation Street, like Emily and Amy Walton, who play Bethany.
I love the babies. I'll always give them big real hugs and kiss them too much and be like, and they're like, oh, get off me now. You know, just the personalities are so different and I get on with them so well.
I'm a little girl, aren't you, eh?
Can't be easy for you. School, Bethany.
Twins can be double the trouble, though.
If there was a scene where they were supposed to be sat on the sofa, 2 seconds into the scene, they'd be crawling off and it was a case of, you know, for the next half an hour through the scene. But it actually made it a bit more realistic, and it made you make sure you knew your lines 100%, because if you went on there not knowing really what was going on and then having to deal with a child as well, it was really hard work.
Bethany!
But it was really good fun as well.
Over the past few years, many Coronation Street kids have been discovered in drama workshops like this one, run by Carol Godby. She's helped launch the careers of Sam Aston, who plays Chesney, and Nikki Sanderson, who's Candice.
A child that's got it just stands out. You could have a class of 20 and you know the child that's going to get professional work.
I left you for 1 hour and you get him drunk. Well, do you know what? I don't care. You can clean this up and the pair of you are grounded. Now clean that up and get to bed.
And they're often quite intense and they hold on to your every word. And when you're explaining something, they're really, you know, and they want to get it right.
We're going to see Dad at the weekend. Exactly.
11-year-old Sam Aston is just that kind of young actor. He's been coming to Carol's drama workshop since, well, we'll let him tell you.
My name's Sam and I'm 6.
When Sam Aston, who plays Chesney, first came to our drama workshop, I had a casting in for a commercial. So I got some of these young people, Sam being one of them, on tape to send to the casting director in London. And he's quite shy. He kept looking up and grunting at me. And I thought, oh, what a cute little boy. But I never thought for 1 minute then that he would go on to be the household name that he is now.
Why don't you plant these seeds in the garden and grow me a bread tree?
It was this ad that convinced Coronation Street
Don't be stupid.
Sam was the best thing since sliced bread.
Going down with me. Cheers, my uncle. Shut up. I'm going, Anna. Come on, City. Come on, City. Result!
They are gripped by Chesney mania. Everyone who comes up to me on the street now, they used to say, where's Kurt, where's Tyrone? Now all they say is, where's Chesney?
If you want to vote for your favourite Chesney lookalike, then here are the numbers to call.
I love working with him. To me, it's like working one of my own kids. It's brilliant.
I'll go to school, OK?
You make it sound like a favour. Ches, it's the Lord of the land.
But you hate the law. You hate coppers, traffic wardens, referees.
I remember the time Sam came into work one day, and he was crying. And I went up to him, what's up, Sam? And he hugged me, and I hugged him. I said, come on, Sam, what's the problem? And he said, I want to do a paper round. I said, Sam, you can't do a paper round. It's impossible. Because every time you push a paper through the door, they're going to pull you in, sit you down and give you biscuits, tea and toffees, or sweets, whatever you want, they're going to give it you because you're Chesney. You know, and this is Coronation Street. This is the world we all love to be in. If you don't love to be in this world, you leave it. And he said, I love it here. I said, yes. And I love you being here. And we had this conversation. And I thought to myself, I've got 4 kids of my own. And I've never spoke like this to them. Never.
Les is kicking you out.
He doesn't have to go right now.
Get your shoes on.
You're kicking me out, but what have I done?
I had a scene with him where he had to make me cry. And I said to him, Sam, if you don't give me this, I can't react to it. So I need you to make me cry.
I don't want to go.
She'll keep coming back.
You've got to live with your mum. At first, he didn't do it. And it wasn't because he couldn't do it. He just didn't understand it. And I said to him, Sam, I'm in the kitchen. Sam, you've got to go for this, mate. You've got to make me cry my eyes out here. Oh, well, when we did it, he did it. I cried.
Please, I don't want to go. I'll be good, I promise. Please, Uncle Les, please let me stay. It's my horse.
What?
Uncle Les. Uncle Les.
No, Les, don't. That was, I mean, I was in the scene, but then when I watched it, I cried. It was just a bit sad, because I'm supposed to know it's not real, aren't I?
Sam might be a superstar, but his mum makes sure he doesn't spend too much time in the spotlight when he isn't filming Coronation Street. It's not easy, though, when he keeps winning awards.
Wait. You look cheeky there, don't you?
But Sam doesn't seem overawed by fame. Ask him what he likes best about being a soap star, and he gives the kind of answer his mum would be proud of.
Probably the people, working with the people and the crew. Yeah, they're all really nice. I mean, you settle in easy. And there's no downs about it. I really enjoy it.
But what does he really think about his partner in crime and co-star Bruce Jones?
Oh, he's really nice. He's funny. Yeah, he swears a lot.
Tracy, will you turn that thing down? It's practically blasting the roof off.
Despite appearances, the actors who played Tracy and Deirdre Barlow built up a close relationship behind the scenes too.
Come on.
The relationship between me and Annie, who played Deirdre, she's just absolutely fantastic person to begin with. She's lovely. Really genuine, nice person, and she looked after me from day one, and she got on with my mum and dad really well.
You always did like your own comforts, madam.
Take after me mum, daughter.
I remember one moment when she suddenly had to dress up and put makeup on,
and become a teenager.
Oh. If you make me take it back, I'm not going to the disco.
You look lovely. Poor Dawn, I felt so sorry for her. We were going, oh, I can't believe it. You look, oh dear, it's awful.
What's up? What have I done now?
You haven't done anything, love. You've just grown up, that's all. And then she walked into the green room and her real mum and dad were in there and they were going, oh my God. And so she got it from her pretend parents and her real parents. Poor Dawn.
But it's not always hugs and kisses growing up at the Barlows.
Are you all right?
I can't say I'm why.
Where have you been till this time?
There was a storyline where Tracy had found out that Deirdre had had an affair with Mike Baldwin.
I suppose you said you were at a Tupperware party. Or did you tell him that you were in bed with Mike Baldwin?
That is enough.
So she was like really, really angry and decided to call Deirdre, of all things, a rotten cowing tart.
Go to bed now!
And I bet you told him a pack of bloody lies!
You heard me!
I hate you, you rotten cowing tart!
I don't know who came up with that one, but... and basically, Deirdre had to slap Tracy and poor Annie was just mortified about having to do it. And after she'd hit me, as soon as the camera was cut, she was just like, oh, like hugging me and crying, I'm so sorry, Dawn. And I was like, it's all right, it's all right. And then we had another scene to do, and it was supposed to be the next morning, and they had to cover up all my big red mark on my face.
I'm sorry I slapped you last night. Well?
Nothing.
Yep, you'll be hard-pushed to get anything out of some Coronation Street kids. But after the break, we'll find out more about the ones who've had a lot to say for themselves, including the child actor who became an international superstar.
Here we come. So they say, you were on Coronation Street? No, you weren't. Yeah, I was. It's not like I sold 100 million records too, but you were on Coronation Street.
Oh, you're so much better than me, Maria!
Will you stop this, please?
Look at you, and you're wondering why you've dumped you! Oh, what do you mean by that? Listen to yourself, you're like a little child!
Scenes you seldom see. The kids from Coronation Street sitting down quietly and settling their differences in a spirit of peace, love and understanding.
Craig, leaving!
That's David!
In fact, it's the fisticuffs and fight scenes the young actors look forward to the most.
Said with it, Craig. What are you going to do about that?
We'd done about 2 days choreography with Vince. Big Vince.
I
Do you remember the same? He was a big sort of fight coordinator. And when it come to it, Simon completely forgot everything that we were doing and just laid into me. Big time. I was just evading punches and sort of trying to get out of his way. Well, we absolutely wrecked the gaff, didn't we?
Yeah.
We did. We smashed the joint up. It was brilliant.
You muppet! And I'm gonna kill you!
The best scenes I like doing with Tina are the fight scenes, where I think the first one we did were where it's David and Sarah Louise fighting in the back garden.
Get lost, you fat cat! Oh, shut up, you little wolf!
It brings it to Coronation Street that it's real when you see brother and sister fighting, because that's what they do.
Get off!
When we first got to do the rehearsals, we did it on, a covered floor. But when it came down to it, it was so much fun. We were just like rolling around the floor on top of each other in the mud. And it was just a case of the muddier the better. You know, we didn't sort of kind of think, oh no, let's not do this.
Oh, hello.
It was great fun.
And if it isn't mud wrestling, it's food fighting. Being left with egg on your face after a punch-up is one thing, but cheese, tomato and pineapple is something else.
But when I read it and I thought, oh, I've got to throw pizza in her face, half of me was like, oh, I can't believe I've got to do that to Sam. Can't believe it. The other half was like, woohoo, Candice is getting to throw pizza in someone's face.
So you cancelled my day so you could fix the day up for yourself?
Yeah, well, you do the same to me, giving half the chance, Candice.
Yeah? Well, hadn't you better get stuck in?
Here.
Sam didn't enjoy it, she had a face full of pizza, but I did, I thought it was really good.
Shut up a minute.
What is it?
Oh, it's Kirk. He's singing our song.
If they're not too busy declaring war on each other, sooner or later most Coronation Street kids will end up giving us a song.
I'm Slim Shady, yes, I'm the real Shady. All you other Slim Shadys are just imitating.
well I feel.
It might be a karaoke competition at the Rovers, or like Adam Rickett, a real-life flirtation with the pop charts. It might even be the old, let's dress the new girl in something truly ridiculous and put on a show right here.
Yesterday, goodbye. The sweetness and the sorrow.
I did make a record when I was about 17, and we very nearly released it, And I was driving to work one day, and Simon Mayo was on the radio, and he said, oh, the good news is that somebody from EastEnders is releasing a record. He said, what is it about soap stars that makes them think they can sing? And I went, nope, I am not doing that.
What I did for
Thank God for Simon Mayo, that's all I can say.
You better watch out, you better not...
Sadly, not every Coronation Street kid can be a singing sensation.
Oh, chasing. All my Christmas wishes just came true.
But in 1961, a boy who was set to become the street's most famous pop star arrived in Weatherfield.
Hello, Grandma. Where's the toffee tin? Where's your manners? You can take your cap off and give your grandma a kiss. Leslie Morgan's only 8 and he doesn't have to kiss his grandma.
I got the part because there was an ad in the Manchester Evening News saying wanted young boy to play a part in a television show. Actually, my Auntie Jessie answered the ad and sent me down there, so my Auntie Jessie was my first agent.
Who's Shirley Bassey?
Hello.
You've said that before.
I know. Can I get the toffee tin?
I remember something that my mother said. My mother passed away in 1960, so she never saw me on Coronation Street. She saw me in the school play, and she saw me in the church Christmas nativity. And I remember her saying to my father, you know, David wants to do this, he wants to be, you know, an actor, and he wants to, she said, he will. He will. And a year and a half later, I did. I was on Coronation Street.
Here, just tell me again what your Auntie Madge said about me last bank holiday.
My Auntie Madge gave me a shilling last week.
Did she?
Yeah.
More than she's ever given me.
It's nice to have a bit of money in your pocket, isn't it, Grandma?
I got my feet wet, and as small as the part was, and as however I delivered the dialogue, that was my first taste of professional show business.
Here we come, walking down the street.
Only 5 years later, Davy Jones became a quarter of the Monkees, America's answer to the Beatles. Monkey Mania never quite topped Beatlemania, but their TV show was a huge hit in nearly 50 countries.
It was instant sort of success, and that instigated concert tours all over the world. It was hysterical. It was something that you can't even imagine.
Cheer up, sleepy Jean, oh, what can it mean now?
They were even selling a button with a piece of my hair on it. So they were cutting my hair on the set, and somebody was sweeping it up, you know, and then putting the one piece of Davy hair, you know. It was like insane.
Davy Jones has lived in America since 1962 and still performs to sell out crowds, but he hasn't been allowed to forget his roots.
So they say, you were on Coronation Street? No, you weren't. Yeah, I was. It's not like I sold 100 million records too, but you were on Coronation Street? So, hey, I mean, don't knock it. I mean, it's the national service of acting, isn't it, really? If you ain't been in Coronation Street, you ain't been in nothing.
Coronation Street might not always set up its young stars for life.
Thank you very much.
But most have done well out of their time on the show.
I was lucky enough to be in a position where I could get a mortgage when I was 18, which, you know, I probably certainly couldn't do now, and none of my friends could do. And so I'm very privileged, and it was down to Coronation Street that I was in a position where I could do that. And although it felt, you know, terribly scary and terribly grown up, it was actually a fantastic thing to be able to do.
£2 cover the cost? Thanks.
I bought my dad a Nissan Bluebird. How bad's that?
It was a second-hand car. I think he needed a car, so I got him a Nissan Blue. I was like 13, you know what I mean? Buying my dad this Nissan Bluebird. He's going to kill me for that.
Oh, well, really is Christmas, isn't it?
It did help towards like getting my house and things like that. It did help when I had my little boy Thomas, with things like that as well financially, and a lot of it helped me to have really good fun as well, like 18, 19, 20, you know, I had such a good time.
But fame sometimes comes at a price. Life can be difficult when no one treats you like a normal teenager anymore.
I remember a lot of my friends would be saying things like, we're having a party this weekend, but I know you'd be too busy to come. And I'd kind of go along with this myth and say, oh yeah, no, I am, I'm really busy. When I wasn't.
Are you going to this party tonight? What party? The one at Sally What's-her-name's, you know, next door to the corner shop?
No, I don't know, I shouldn't think so. And I just wanted to go to their party, and I wanted to go to the cinema, and I wanted to do normal things.
Yeah, I got bottled twice in bars, just because I'd be talking to a girl and suddenly I'd crack across the back of the head and it'd be, stop chatting at my girlfriend. I'm like that, what? But it's part and parcel of, you know, unfortunately being on TV sometimes.
You're nothing but an insolent young layabout whose idea of fun is to bunk off school and get drunk. Well, you can ruin your own life, that's up to you. But you're not ruining hers.
The fact that Aidan was nasty, I think, made it a little bit more difficult for me in the street because people hated Aidan at certain times, especially when he crashed the car.
We did, sir, shut the door!
That was the worst time for me. I couldn't go out of the house for a couple of days because of fear of what people would say to me or what they would do to me in the street, you know?
Aidan wasn't the only kid to find things in Weatherfield coming to a screeching halt. After the break, we'll hear from the Coronation Street kids who found it hard when the time came to say goodbye.
I should not have re-auditioned. I should just thought, right, well, I'm either in it or I'm not.
I'm gonna have this baby! Listen, love, I only come to sit.
Saying goodbye to Coronation Street can be traumatic for any actor, but for child stars it's particularly tough. Joe Gilgan had to leave when his on-screen mum had a baby, in real life as well as on the street.
She wanted to go and, you know, spend some time with the new child and sort of... You would, really. I don't blame... I've never blamed her for a decision.
I'm gonna miss that boy.
Come on, Jack. Let him get off.
It's like moving a different school, you know. You're leaving all your friends behind, they're going off to other places, and you'll probably never see him again.
Since leaving Coronation Street, Joe has continued to act. This is him in Hollyoaks. And he is also enrolled in fashion school.
To the cupboard.
Hurry up and eat a wee.
Although Joe left in happy circumstances, unfortunately, it doesn't always work out that way.
The character Tracy generally has always been in and out of the street, and generally they'd always brought me back, but this time it wasn't made fully clear either at first. I didn't think that of what was going on, that they might recast either.
Well, lovey, I never thought we'd be waving you off this afternoon.
You just like making a big fuss, you do.
But I was told that I could re-audition if I wanted to, which I think was the big mistake, that I should not have re-auditioned. I should just thought, right, well, I'm either in it or I'm not.
Since 2002, Tracy has been played by Kate Ford.
Oh, wow, what a lot here.
Meanwhile, Dawn Acton has forged a new career as a DJ in Manchester.
I definitely say that I found happiness and contentment, yeah. I've always loved music, so I always love going out having a good time, and to work in that kind of situation is great for me.
Warren Jackson is probably the Corrie kid whose exit provoked the most controversy.
Yeah, I was about 15, 16 years old, and I was doing my year out basically to concentrate on my schoolwork, so getting into my exams basically, and I was like 3/4 of the year into it, and then I had a reporter that came around to my house and told me that they were bringing Nick Tilsley back to Coronation Street, but it wouldn't be me that would be playing it. And the reason I wouldn't be playing the part would be because I'm not sexy enough, that's what they told me. So that was a bit like, whoa, that was a blow. That was a bit strange. But I've learned to adapt and I'm okay now.
Since leaving Coronation Street, Warren has done all sorts of part-time jobs. But for the last 4 years, he's been travelling abroad.
I've been living in Holland, working at Schiphol Airport, driving the bags to and from the planes, me tootling around there. These big planes, taking the bags to Air Canada. That was very good. And I've been travelling, I've been in Greece, I've been in France, I've been around Asia, so I've had a good time.
Keep an eye on your sister till I finish, then you can.
As for the young actress who played Warren's on-screen sister, Sarah Lou, she decided to leave the show because of problems with other kids.
I was getting bullied since primary school, all the way up into high school. I did find it difficult because it was as if everybody treated me differently to everybody else.
Another chocolate.
Another one?
Yeah,
that would be naughty.
It might cheer you up.
The one-time Sarah Lou is currently on a break from drama school and working at her local bakery. Meanwhile, the character she used to play is now Britain's best-known teenage mum and played by Tina O'Brien.
We're all right. To sit there now and watch Tina play her, it's weird.
It feels so strange. Last party I was at, it was like jelly ice cream and pintail and donkey.
It does upset me sometimes because that is one thing in my life that I want to do is act, and I would love to get back into me acting.
Is that reality?
They thought they'd said their last goodbyes to Coronation Street, but now Joe, Lynsay, Davy, Dawn and Warren are all grown up and they're back for their first pint in the Rovers.
But it's, actually, the thing was, it was like coming actually down to our own street, because I lived on a street just like this in Openshaw, with 2 up, 2 down, no toilet inside, toilet was outside, no bathroom, no nothing. We used to stand in the sink, sit in the sink and wash, well, standing up in the sink, that was it.
Oi, get down here, you little thug, and open this door.
Get lost, Baldy!
One of these windows here, it was definitely on this row I chucked the water on. Johnny Briggs, Mike Baldwin, do you remember?
Give me a brick!
Oh, Mr. Baldwin, sir!
We once had a fire in this house and we had to escape. We had to squeeze into the top part of those stairs. Me and Nikki played McDonald and then all proper smoke was in there, and just before we went for the take they said, try not to breathe it in, guys, because it is toxic. And we were like, what, we're in it?
Is anyone else out? Are you sure? It's outside, go get out!
That was Dez's house, and that was Mavis and Derek's. Had a football net as well. Football net's gone, so I was obsessed with football there.
I scored twice. I could have a hat-trick. I will on Saturday. To lot further the rocks and that.
Yeah.
All right. Calm down, your way, David.
So was this your back garden then?
Yeah.
This was yours, and were you in this back garden as well? We never had a garden, us.
You're having a great time out there.
It's not quite a reunion because some of their paths didn't cross when they were kids, but it is a homecoming. Between them, they've clocked up almost as many years on Coronation Street as Bill Roach, who's now been playing Ken Barlow for nearly half a century.
Arrival. Oh, there we go. Here's to you and Coronation Street.
Here's to another 50 years.
Yeah, why not? What will they make me? That's not good.
Before they go, there's a last surprise for one grown-up Coronation Street kid.
Oh, Mom.
I love you.
I knew you were in. Everybody told me you were in. I came to hunt you down. I love you.
Are you all right, yeah?
I'm fine, yeah. How are you?
I'm brilliant, yeah.
Oh, you look wonderful, love. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's great. Oh, darling, I miss you.
Oh.
I really miss you. There's no silliness.
Oh, is there not?
No.
Is everybody sane?
Well, no, they're all still mental, but they're not silly as you and me used to be.
Over the last 44 years, the kids from Coronation Street have all left their footprints on the cobbles of Britain's favourite soap. We've seen them make friends, make enemies, and make a right nuisance of themselves.
Oi, 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 you couple of wasters!
We've laughed with them, cried with them, and shared their growing pains from the comfort of our living rooms. But what's it really like being a Coronation Street kid in the 21st century?
There's been quite a few moments in my career there where I thought, I can't believe that I am stood here. Like, you get to go to really cool parties. I went to a dinner and we were sat there and someone went, John Travolta's over there, and you go, yeah, right, whatever. And you turned around and John Travolta was sat, like, literally over there. And it was just, I couldn't believe it. I was like, I am in the same room as John Travolta. What's going on? What is going on?
The first time I started to realise that Coronation Street was as big as what it is was when I went to a town called Kippax, and when they asked me to switch on some Christmas lights.
Now that's what I call fairy lights!
He's there! They all shout, and they all run after me. I thought one girl were going to break her leg. She hopped over this wall and nearly fell on the floor. I gets in the car, speds off, and 2 police escorts are on motorcycles, and they're outside, kicking people like this. I couldn't believe it.
Over the years, Weatherfield's young stars have lit up our lives and given us hours of entertainment as we've watched them change. Mind you, even the kids from Coronation Street can't please all of the people all of the time.
I did go to this thing, and this little girl, I met this little girl, she was about 3, and obviously everyone knew that Fizz was coming, it was like a PA, and I met her and I said hello, and she burst into tears. And I was absolutely gutted, and I didn't know what I'd done. And then her mum came up to me and said she'd been expecting Fizz from the tweenies. So I was a major disappointment.
Nine become 8. Does that mean there'll be another grain of rice each? Someone else has got to go, and I'm a celebrity next here on ITV1, and it's up to you. While on to another real crime investigation, or on ITV3 now, crime drama, as a local writers' circle are involved in a set of gruesome events in Midsummer Murders.